Right, in today's video it's going to be all about the photography mode with the newly released Insta360 Ace Pro 2. So when you enter the photography mode, you'll have two aspect ratios, the first one being 16.9 and then the other one is 4.3. Now when you enter the 16.9 aspect ratio, you'll only be able to get 9 megapixel photo, and then the highest it goes there will be 37 megapixels. And then when you jump to the 4.3 aspect ratio, you'll be able to get 12.5 megapixels, and then the highest it goes there is a whopping 50 megapixels. Now that just blows me away today on an action camera that we can get 50 megapixels. I was very impressed with the Action 5 Pro at the high end there of 40 megapixels. So now we've got another 10 megapixels on top of that with the Ace Pro 2. So this video should be really interesting to see the differences there. So now I'll just show you how to find the photography mode and cycle through the aspect ratios along with the megapixels. So to access the photo mode with the Ace Pro 2, there'll be two ways to do this. You can either use the quick shot button at the side, you just tap that twice and then it'll take you straight to photo mode, or you can simply hit the icon in the bottom left and then toggle across to photo. And then when you've highlighted the photo icon, you'll just see in the bottom left there it says 9 megapixels. You'll just hit that, and then to the left of there you'll see the JPEG format and the ratios. So if you hit that ratio, you'll just see on the right there we've just got the two options of 4.3 and 16.9. And when you're in 16.9, we can have the 9 megapixels or the 37 megapixels. And then the ones we've concentrated on today, the aspect ratio has been 4.3. And there you'll find 12.5 megapixels and the whopping 50 megapixels. And then the format you can shoot these in just above the ratios there. If you hit that, we've got JPEG, pure shot, and then we've got pure shot and raw. Now let's get back to the video. Here we go. So in today's video with the photography mode, I'm going to be concentrating on the 12.5 megapixels versus the 50 megapixels. So we should see a significant difference in those megapixels there, especially when I punch into the images. The reason I'm not going to be going through all the 9 megapixels, the 12.5, the 37 and the 50 is because from the 9 to the 12.5 megapixels, you're not going to see that much difference. And then with the 37 megapixels to the 50, again, we won't see that much difference. Although there's a 13 megapixel difference there, they are rather close together. So again, I'm going to be concentrating on the 12.5 megapixels versus the 50 megapixels in the aspect ratio of 4.3. So I'm just going to walk around, find some subjects and take two pictures, the first one being 12.5 megapixels, the second one at 50 megapixels, and then I'll punch into them side by side to really see if there's some difference there. So my first subject's going to be this abandoned garage behind me, and just take note to the brickwork detail and the graffiti there on the metal sheeting. And when I crop into that, especially with the 50 megapixels versus that 12.5 megapixels, we should see some difference. So I'll just take two shots here. Here we go. And now I've got a garage just behind me over there. Again, the first picture is going to be 12.5 megapixel and the second one being 50 megapixel, both in 4.3 aspect ratio. As I crop into this garage, just take note on the detail to see the differences there. And now I've got this church behind me, so let's take the first image at 12.5 megapixels and then the second one being 50 megapixels. Here we go. And while I'm at the church, I know it's a bit morbid, but we'll see the finer detail if I was to take two images of a gravestone. And then I'll crop in from that 12.5 megapixels to that whopping 50 megapixels, and let's just see if we can see any difference there. We should do, to be honest. Here we go. So I'm around 12 meters away from that gravestone just over there. So again, let's take the first image and then the second image. We'll side by side them, and this is where you should see a significant difference from the 12.5 megapixels to the 50 megapixels. So could you see any differences there with the first picture at 12.5 megapixels and the second one at 50 megapixels with that gravestone? At first glance you probably don't, but you really should be able to see a difference as I punch in there, especially on the writing there. And now I'm going to take a picture of this small building here. Again, the first image compared with the second image, when I crop in, we should see some differences. Just keep an eye on the brickwork and we should see the changes in the detail. Did you see much change there, especially when I cropped in? Let's hope so. Let's find another subject. And now I'm approaching a large building. It's actually a pub. So let me just spin the camera around. And again, the first picture 12.5 megapixel and the second one being 50 megapixel. And then I'll crop in, especially on the window frames, just to pick out the finer detail there. Now, did we see much difference when I cropped in there, especially on those window frames? Let's find another subject. Now I'm around 25 meters away from the opening time sign there at Morrison's. So again, let's take two images of that and crop in and hopefully see some difference again with the wording. Here we go. Could you see any differences when I zoomed in there on the numbers and letters on that opening time sign? Let's find another subject. There's a few shops over there. The middle one there, it's a Vets, it's called Croft Vets. So I'll take the images from here. I'd say I'm at least 40 meters away from that. So this will be good to really crop in and compare that 50 megapixels to that 12 megapixels. Here we go. So on that clip, could you clearly read the Croft Vet sign as I cropped in there? Again, I really should hope so when we're comparing the 12.5 to the 50 megapixels. Now, I am aware that today's pictures aren't the most exciting, but it's all to do with comparing that low end to the high end megapixels, because as you crop in, that's where we should see significant change, as I've said. That's why it's been wording and brickwork and finer details like that. And now just in the distance there's an old lamp post. Again, I'm around 20 meters away. So let's take two images of that, 12.5 megapixels and 50 megapixels. Really crop into there's just a little box on there, if you can see that. Well, you'll see that in a minute. I'll crop in on that and hopefully we'll see some differences in clarity. Here we go. So did we see any difference there when I cropped in to that white old electrical box on the lamppost there? I should hope so again. And now I've got Bolsover Castle just over there in the distance. Now that sits around 250 meters away. So just from this location, let's take that first image and that second image, the 12.5 versus the 50, and I'll crop in on that brickwork, and if I can, the English heritage flag. It's all going to be depending where that wind's blowing as I take these images. So let's hopefully see some finer detail. Here we go. So did we see any change as I cropped in, especially with that 50 megapixel on Bolsover Castle? We should see a massive difference to that 12.5. Now we've got another church. There's loads of churches in this village. So let's again take a low end of 12.5 megapixel versus the 50. Again, keep an eye on the brickwork and the glass stain in there, as I'm going to crop in on that to see the differences hopefully. So did we see any differences with the church? Again, I should hope so, with that massive difference in megapixels. Now I found some sorry looking flowers here with snow on them. First picture 12.5, second picture 50. Let's punch in to the flowers to see the difference in clarity. Here we go. And now I'm just going to take two pictures of this old water tower. Again, keep a close eye to the brickwork detail as I crop in there. And the last photo of the day, I really want to test this now. We're going to punch in quite a way. I'd say that's around a mile away. You can just make out where my finger is. There's a large farm. So again, the 12.5 versus the 50 megapixel. Here we go. So now I'm finished taking pictures today. So what's your thoughts on the detail and the clarity there? I should hope that there's a big difference from the 12.5 megapixels to that whopping 50 megapixels, especially with this new generation 1/1.3 sensor on the Ace Pro 2. So I hope you've enjoyed this video today and you've got a great insight of the photo mode with the Ace Pro 2. Is it any good for taking photography? That's what this video is all about today, and I'm blown away with that 50 megapixel. So as you're seeing this right now, I haven't got home and edited it. I hadn't even seen these pictures, only on the back of this small OLED screen. So it's going to be great to get back and crop in to blow them up there to see the differences, which you're going to see, well, which you have seen in this video rather. So as always, do stay tuned to the channel, as there's going to be plenty of helpful videos with both the Ace Pro 2 and the Action 5 Pro. It's going to help you decide which action camera is going to be the best one for you. So as always, thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and bye for now.